possibility when they go through these adjudications and someone enters a final decree, it may go up to which court, if there's appeals and so forth. In this particular case, by federal law, the U.S. Congress and the Supreme Court has determined that water rights adjudication in the western United States belongs in the state courts. So that's the method that we have to go through to quantify our water rights. But it is true that the U.S. Supreme Court today does not favor Indian tribes, and that is an established history. But hopefully we won't have to go there with this particular matter.
Let me add, Tim, Shemantah David, good to see you again. The winter doctrines since 1908, if it ever gets to the United States Supreme Court, they will take a look at what was the meaning and implication application of the 1908 decision by Supreme Court. It is a possibility. They do away with it. Hopefully, let's pray that they don't. If it ever gets there, pray about ICT. I don't want to see this. Nana, thank you. This is his heritage. Eastern Navajo, Ben Cabo, agency, a shine, zero mankind, of course, Attorney General on the Commission, and also regularly heading the water resources, using the Commission also.
Water rights to the AE that's part of the process of consolidations and the Attorney General, Mr. Sosi, the settlement process, the Senate Bill 2109 so there's nothing to repeal. We're not at that stage yet. We're still at the beginning. We're trying to negotiate a settlement that has been ironed out by all of these Mr. Milford, Shunai, Mr. Milford was asking that the settlement agreement says the Navajo Nation can take all of the water from the Little Colorado River that reaches the reservation. The worry is this language lets the upstream users, the users that are up on the White Mountain areas, into the underground aquifer that makes up the source for the Little Colorado River. He indicated that the upstream users keep taking from the LCR until none reaches the Navajo reservation. There's 220,000 acre feet. Give or take so many acre feet, depending on how much precipitation or how much it snows or rains up in the White Mountains area, and then in the lower Colorado River Basin. There is no quantity of water rights or priority date of water rights set on the word reaches on the settlement. The truth of the settlement with this language reaches waives all of our prior rights called winters or Indian reserve rights. Because again, our clarification is that we're not talking about the water rights, we're talking about the claims of the Little Colorado River. Because this agreement, I want you to really understand that, is recognizes the right of the Navajo Nation to use all of the water reaching the Navajo Nation. This is not waiving its right to enforce the settlement agreement. The settlement agreement prohibits the people upstream from, number one, taking additional surface water for new irrigational purposes, and two, building new reservoirs. Under the settlement, because of the claims that are in there, it says that the people upstream will not take that water unless the Navajo Nation knows about it, unless the Navajo Nation says yes to it. So I wanted to make sure that clarification was there. The second thing that Mr. Milford brought up, which I thought was very interesting, was the fact that he was indicating that the dry river bed of the Little Colorado River, lower downstream, when that Tochibok goes, they're going to take upstream water and take it down to the lower basin and out toward, perhaps maybe he's thinking to the Phoenix area. But because of the settlement, the way it's written, the way we clarified it is that they cannot do that, because there's no way that anyone can take water downstream from the Little Colorado River unless the Navajo Nation knows about it and approves it. I just wanted to make that clarification, and that the settlement says that also. It says that inside the agreement itself. So there's very good thinking processes that are there. I'm glad to hear them because that's something that we did talk about, we did discuss that we did not want other people from upstream or downstream either one taking water from the Navajo Nation. And that's the reason why we settled on this agreement or recommending it to the Navajo Nation Council. I'm talking about this both in the Navajo language and I think Afrikaans is what the clients go. I used to live right up here on 6th Street. That's where I grew up. I lived right next to Larry Foster and Larry Anderson and a lot of the other people that are in here. Other people, my mother used to be called Mary Alice or Lisa. So there's a need for this story. So that should you meet and then bounces Casey got the name I doing the lake at 8 Street here, I do the line sign. It's on the much of a Casey grandpa, so I understand what you're asking for. I'm doing the deed. This settlement is also going to be looking at the next 50 up to 100 years. Because am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? And am I moving the right way? So after the lead commissioners, then not do that either. And I get that. Vice President, Honorable Vice President, I believe that should check. Mr. Hale,
Thank you. And we have Irma, next speaker. If you could stand over here, that way we don't hear that squeaky noise over there. That's the one we
case of Peter, just like anybody else, I am concerned, not only for my generation, but into the future. which will only even as a downside case of ardent the case of last of Sophia and now it had a long second. But Shenna has only going over to the case at the I call DD water rights settlement. Chúng ta có được and I really admire a lot of these young writers. They have such knowledge. And I don't think they're too far off on anything what they're saying. I congratulate you for your wisdom, your knowledge. Hydrologist that contact he doesn't know he did a little she has Mr. Gilmore Equifor I out for you not on I so he's not for it a gift so they gave the next model he gave kind of this exchange. And for water, one time you can for gallons of need each one you guys the 3 gallon go I never for good water and go to the session. So Ada, one of the ship not never about me, or the deep corner water rights. Litigation at the settlement. The previous year, I thought not today. I don't discount not I can't say. But it was our audience, Pedro was our Pedro had not called. But our being I have a condemnation as on the energy we are. So they gave on us, they go to the gate with the bunch, not for she. I go to the so the Hajoy Lago that you can't really trust it. They like Nana, she done him. Not that was still for the light or they had and she. Let's take advantage of them. John Lay took it now, one day, that the Kayahagi that they're creating more poor people. So father just for you. Yes, what I give for teaching out of the farm uranium that corner they called 40 years on I call higher the should be study commission fees for law. Send it to the public, educate them to non-development. I call the total people need that.
We're going to try to see all the police cars and everything. When you look, don't think we live in a police state. Well, there you go.
To me, it looks like we're already sold down the drain. Navajo, Hopi, Colorado Water Rights Commission. Navajo Nation Water Rights Commission supports S2109. They're already in support. Ada, Stephanie Nan, led water rights attorneys. Tribal water rights attorney, they don't say you're full of me. So I showed an in the Shaolin. What was the Tayan? They go to my over there. ecco si ogena sosioso ecco ya no per how ya I hire a DC lobbyist to work on passing the water rights bill in Congress. Ado based on my TV component means community. Annual funding contingent upon congressional approval. So I'm not going to make it. I call Adela Hagiranson, cost in the arms of any. Ani hit for just a year and get at this ID. Ani hit attorney general. Adela will get you the S2109. Don Hitapos of so. When he got able waiver sheet of a card or I don't know what's all in this 2109 Dragon Channel. So I found in Washington. I wish that we all had one here. Every month. I think shit. And I think we need an attorney too to be able to really explain to them 2109. I call Benny not sneaky.
You hear me?
I hate to say it, select Mr. Harris, Attorney General in London. So that I come to Customs. So yeah, administration able actually Customs Zeta. You should be giving us the pro and con. What I had before for me, what able only the not is one mother of Katie or Jack in a red action. One was common in the ship, the way young in the class of Shina. This is a Diego. Fast keep on dating. It's our life, it's our study Nego. Translated to procedure the career change of it. At issue with for Aji Yasun Ill, Exodus, non take for what chase of Dagati. No. At the snake. So that for me that you live. Very cheap computers. They create things almost everything, technology that data. Don't need put your heart that I can charge the other way so when the job out. And I wasn't the what that was in me. So that arch for years for the game was asked and you pay reality. Adult. I joined up the other day. I don't have other things. These are other things. You can't have it. I negotiated, never mentioned. I only work to language. You can't have it. You got that other bottle of skin or they say so that one need a son. I learned the big advantage. So much. The ceremony that you guys are getting paid for. You're not doing it free. You're free because of our concern. I go out there where I don't know how to any bananas. I send it to Lava Kennedy. So let's go back. The actually the fish and the cake of the first day, they've been non changed and unsung. I found that. Adaptation overtime double as a rate. As I said, that's a lot of okay. I realized that. I from the I'm not a person. Yeah, for the entire administration was a hundred probably not on stop on things no start on. You see that was again. You guys are shouldn't like you don't some what the patient. I call all day again, where I'm so I still in the song. Thank you. The next one we have Lorraine Williams.
And then Irma Bluehouse is the former, or actually First Lady of the Navajo Nation. Nelson Bluehouse's wife, so she probably knows what is going on in politics. Where are you, Ray? So even though we won't vote, whether we're a Republican or a Democrat or a Green Party, that doesn't matter to our leaders up in Washington, D.C. No matter whether or not we have a voice that concerns us regarding our children, generations to come, it has none effect. To them, they don't care. The same way with their water rights, and media and stuff. Rights, we don't have rights. Because on the we're going to have rights soon. That versus our sovereignty. We always speak about being a sovereign nation. And on the other hand, the government tells us that we are a ward of the government. And as long as we are a ward of the government, they can pull the strings, take it away from us, whether we have to say so or not. And that's the way it works, politics. Relocation, cat waters. Subject now to continue for continued operation and reauthorization. Upon this base, another idea. There's one more thing there. There's what the NATO took the ammunition over this. And the last ammunition or they think it's about 1,000. I think that here our leaders, President and Vice President, need to really look at that. And then someone said earlier, 76,000 acre-feet of water, Oceania from Gilmore. That covers the whole state of Arizona. 76,000 cubic feet of water is already gone. No doubt, in about maybe less than an hour. And then here it says, water does not settle new claims. A proposed settlement does not settle new claims. A cadete has on the area before. Then you should. Not the Sunday, not the Hana, the name, but the dog needs it all only it's not a German. We're not going to have that. There's not going to start any new claims.
Here, we need our attorneys to really look at this. Waivers, isn't it? To me, a waiver is something that you just give up, and it becomes a law. So are we saying that we're going to waiver our rights for water? Oh, I need a law. They don't believe so. I think they have not lived the idea for them. Now, so any one yana because something that I don't know, but they get all that and all that to be cut. I'm saying it's able to the time, you can hold up on this. I'm told I only have a minute. So if we are a real sovereign nation, perhaps our leaders need to go to Congress and then also waive the waiver. It has to take a congressional action. How many years is that going to be before it's approved by the government? This is a concern that I have. I have children. I have grandkids. You do have kids. And instead of wavering, it should be a perpetual agreement between the national nation and the government. State legal area, we cannot trust the state government.
Yep.
In Washington, D.C., to ensure that we are guaranteed our water. Right. I don't think to give response. This is the job that the company. I call another horse come. He said, ask me. Shall I ever hire yours now? There's a thing hire yours, and I come in, sister. Shall I ever Kyle and McKinney look at the old me? Probably under the table agreement. I'm sure you've got something. Maybe I didn't finish you for them. Thank you. Thank you.
Jag är fastnat fast i dag. Vi ska sätta in något annat fan. Jag know jag köper det. Och säger att det kan ane och det kan inte. Men det är bara syns värda. Och det är det så. Kappa här det synnande. Och där är det människa. Alla kväll satt så där för när jag regel kan att det bortföra när det är människan alla alls måste köra det kan det är det alla människan där och när det är nästan någon nej jag är där kan att inte göra det där så hårt Kinan ano sini halong data action na sini saya sesuatu na sini kalau na tabas jadi ya ane bersih na saya tidak tahu sedikit apa ya ane so itu tahu kita no soalnya kalau ada nak jadi ane saya ada ya nah just case ini nanti kita bahana exam bahan ya, saya tahu dia, jadi tahu dia ini mana, ni kita ini mana tu, ni kita ini mana, apa kabar just case, aku terus
p91fun 그다음 저스키 베니나니 예야 저쪽 캐나다 신나는 캐나다 그래나 난나로 호지시 아까만 저스키에서 거기 통 와인 되는 데로 카레를 나는데 와인데 아까 나이스 시원하자 그때가 안나는 사케스 안나는 나아 아노 내가 해다한다 와야티오 아도 내가 쉬동네 아주와 와야티오 좋은 아만 저스케스 이브나 시시야에 사타코론 체크미드나 알라사 아나스데 신난 아나나 스니 아레다나서 판에 타나다 한이 깨다하사 나소가 이친이 이렇게 신업적인 또 의사다던 아래 연구는 거의 코토 깨다하사 그런데 나는 내가는 신학도 봐야다 인성만 저스케스 하나님 좋게 하는 하나님의 좋게 날 깨달아 이렇게 나와서 아무 쉬었다만 저스케스 이브나 시까지 쉬었다만 저스케스 이브나 아기 톱 양식으로서 이거 봐서 혼동인데 주변에 주니까 시들도 좋아해 실리도 저는 시계로 전송 지도 아도 기셔 아도 난데 아도 난 시계서도 아도 난 시가서 아주 그게 좀 저는 뭐 기셔 나서도 그런 나에게 나서 할게 나가 이 하도 어떻게 되나 게안 되라고 해서 진노하다고 했었는데 이걸 깨닫고 사지 아샤니 내서도 가능성 아는 것 사이 나가면서 아는 나가는 나나서도 가능성 사이 나가면서 나가 기스안이 되도 멘트나 스타일도 아코만 저스케서 썼다는데 아콘데 Then you know that I go to Islam, Shagari, I wrote that English. You know, she's like a dog. She's lonely and not on the snack at washing it. You know, touching English. People go back in there, not the day we are all we are eating and it said it draws on all ya. I call all three walking there. I call that one side case or the class in a class and 아까 초청에다 사로라는 연도에 미소편이나 세계적으로나 비노사피나 배라스가 이로에 알게도 마다 비고 이시바디 이로파트에 들어가는 쉬어가만 저스케시는 아까 그래서만 저스케 이런 거에는 일단 아무 그런 거 안다 무슨 그런 거라도 이런 내리가 비비다 Natural training, I don't see that none here like the I that lawyer. And then the lawyer and then federal law, tribal law, again, Nessa. Other part and then the is leaning, 800 the Sharia, all on justification and I go. Not only the senior on justice, upon I this, so I'm not sorry that it was sorry to us, still the cat.
Cheryl, where are you? Yeah, she's been able to do it. She's Cheryl Cook and she's a senior friend who or Hanagami was 16 to 100 days, but it's you just know. She did college that Insta, auto, master's stuff. The questions I had to ask to I guess whomever is answering the questions are
these guys here, these important people, why are the sacred waters, the sea aquifer and the end aquifer, being included to the LCR? These waters are reserved for the Diné people, not for non-natives. Non-natives to create swimming pools and hot tubs. Another question is, has there ever been a consideration of asking the Hustonkies for recommendations or inputs on development of the SB 2109? I'm asking because I know they perform water offerings and they use water for purification during the blessing way ceremonies. And I have another question here. If other groups are claimed individually, why are Navajos grouped collectively?
Yeah.
Navajos need to be claimed individually according to usage and consider future expansion studies per individual. Or our companies are agricultural or land use. And I have a last question. Are these forums held like in the cities out there where are other Navajos that are living and going to work and like in Phoenix and elsewhere? And that's my last question. Yeah.
Okay, we have some
yeah.
questions that we're ready to answer. Mr. Gilmore and Harrison, you want to go ahead and go first?
Grazie Sara, quello che faccio mi si può tanta vita. Però, Cristian Latini, dica trovare a Seleni, lo fanno il solo, facendo il meglio di fare che si gira lì. Ma già che sta e si trovano, lasciando lì. One of the things I want to talk about is this effort that we're involved in. What are we actually trying to do when we talk about water rights? What we're really talking about, and we showed some maps earlier here, is about a nation, building a nation. If you're going to have a nation, you need certain resources. Number one, you need a land base. Number two, you usually need water. You need capital assets, infrastructure. And the primary resource that we have on the Navajo Nation is what we call our human capital. Those are some of the key elements of building a nation. And what we're trying to do is provide clarity. Remember, years ago, we started out with a small reservation in 1868. Oh, that's part of our land base. And since 1868, most tribes have lost what they reserved through allotments and things like that. The Navajo people, through efforts of our past leaders, have expanded that small reservation by executive order, by statutes, by litigating with the Hopi tribe and prevailing in lawsuits against them. We now have a large land base that we call our homeland. And this homeland is in 3 states. It's in Arizona, it's in Utah, and it's in New Mexico. And now we're going through the process of securing our water for the future to build a homeland with. And in this effort, what we're now tasked with is the responsibility of securing water for the Navajo people. And that's the undertaking we're now involved in as the Water Rights Commission. I'm also on the Water Rights Commission.
Imagine that.
And what this undertaking is keeping in mind that if the Navajo Nation really is going to have a future, we need those resources. We need land, we need water, we need a good airshed, we need capital and we do it for our people, our human capital. And the way you do that, as we've explained here, is you plan. Nahapago, Panahinigo. When things are so that things are those thinking you don't think. Of course, the United States government, the state of Arizona, the cities, the face of all the Hayu, the natural Hayu, the Sydney jail, Dina source, the assassination, the of course, the next time, the household see, here that the Donasaka, either, the case of the Sanan, the Hano, the Nasaka has Steve, and in the Sunday, the San Today case of Dina, and then the couple, they spinning everything. So, every Phoenix, something, either, as the Nekada, so every Ghana St. John's, the Tella, any party, either. Silently, case of the action party, Tobe, the Hakamode, in Ade Golding, Yenasli couple, Iku, the city, Tella, of people, the couple, people are for God. The four last after so long, Even why is the sea aquifer and the N aquifer a part of this settlement? Oh, the way water rights settlement. Remember, we're involved in a settlement, and you use the laws to assert a claim. The laws are the rules of the game. When you play a game like basketball, there's always rules, right? You can't double dribble. You can't foul. You get so many points if you take a shot from behind the 3-point line. So the laws are the rules that we have to quantify our water rights with. They have only and that's how you use the rules to say, here's how much I can claim. Here's God, the United States. But no, this was only there was only a water rights claim settled that was things. And it's no when you settle a water rights, you settle everything mostly within that basin, not just the surface.
This guy's talking out of
In the
it.
state of Arizona, they also allow settlements of groundwater.
He talks in circles really well.
So in this particular case, under this particular settlement, the Navajo Nation does get to use, in most cases, most of the water and most of these aquifers, along with the Hopi, because they also have lands that have aquifers underneath their lands. And that's part of the discussion that Judge Gilmore engaged in. But what I'm saying is there's a certain basin. There's surface waters, there's groundwater there, and groundwater is included. And that's how the state of Arizona adjudicates water settlements within a certain basin. So that's why those are included. And there was a question about individual versus tribes. This is kind of an interesting question. It's a very good question. Why are we adjudicating our rights as a tribe rather than individual water users? And it falls pretty much down to this. There's this, between the federal government and the Navajo Nation, we conduct our business on a government-to-government basis. We entered into a treaty that was between the United States government and the Navajo Nation as a people. And that's how the legal relationship is established. And that's how the federal government recognizes Navajo Nation. Because of the different treaties and the various agreements that string over a long time period. And the U.S. Supreme Court has acknowledged that. So, they don't recognize individual tribal members on a government-to-government basis. Only the Navajo Nation. And the other issue here is this litigation has been going on for 33 years. How many individuals have the finances to hire attorneys to work for them individually for 33 years? How many individuals can afford to have hydrologic studies on their own? So it's good that we do this as a combined effort as a nation. So that's some of my responses, and there's other responses that need to be made, and I'll let the others discuss it.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General of the Navajo Nation. On 1950s for clarification, it was hopefully you will receive and understand answers to your questions. We're not arguing with you. We're not saying you're wrong. If we hear something, that's what we're trying to say. So we're here to explain, answer questions, and discussion and decision needs to be made by the governing body of the Navajo Nation. We trust and we pray for them that they will make good decisions with the best interests of the Navajo Nation and their minds and their lives of prayer to take up this important issue. Mr. Williams, Dennis Williams, should have been as much supposed to be told with the most kidnapping. I mean, you're very right that you have to experience of those just short because I was you have to have a lot of patience around because they're very intelligent animals. Walk up and live up the physics, just so that you have to them as a tough. You have to be a teacher to train that horse, to train the child. You're very right. I'll tell you. I have a good time. Even Sharon, some material answer questions that were answered by Attorney General. So because it says the record shoes, it must be an evening time. But for me, I told you that the book here, that it is down so connected. But actually, whether or not the Commission had time to consult with the Attorney Association of the Navajo Nation. You know, there's one thing that I did, which is say, I'll ask them a question. To wait the year to them, to get the water into the water, lake, river, spring. 4 seasons a year. In that respect, part of my answer to you is that exactly what I did. And what this commission did, Sharon Murray, you know, there's something. You go to the lake college, you don't get what's in it. The way to page because that they should be based upon that, which is never what they have to have to be added because of how you do that. Had your body then suggest to me that the Lord should wait and see that you should suggest to us couple. But when that for me I come on and tell you that as your way to make come, teach the man, you've got to teach the society that even now I didn't see them because I told you they had to not a issue. She don't mean I respect it because it was a teaching that I got from my father. For everything that I put I connected to what normally, for those who they had it at the first of the marriage, every day I shall have a people. Now, Mr. Williams, William Tessel, Simon Irma, where are you? Irma, Blue House. General vacancy, I agree with you. The last night, I had children where was the show? Mr. Williams here, I say, don't forget, as kind of me, no one dealing with something, no one like that. I hold some years of pride, told us like this, I did chance to do it. So, when you are the child of me, I've been in. I did not say, oh, that has something about that. It was specifically authorized in legislation that was approved by Congress and Obama, President Obama, puts that in. So we got let's change that. We were talking about we will make the recommendation for education on some of the class that the president of the legal council of the legal action party network. The kilo of data so that each of the people to meet. But I think that so order that we speak and many Christian India. Those who want Rina, the equivalent of the army, where she goes. Oh, there you are. The court did it out that is yes. Even an animal that is lower than a human being in their intelligence, some are very intelligent. Our young people, they are up here. Perceive their education to the full of new talent and capacity. They want to kindly make a specific recommendation on S2109, where you think it needs improvement, where you think it needs amendment, and in any area, but I don't think the stand, where is the yes, we need those. Just take that. There's legalism can communicate with leaders. Cell phone, telephone, text, email, and so forth. I believe there should be journal as part of the major email that we need to contact because the time is getting short. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe early June, Christmas, look for the body, your recommendation, your suggestions, even journal. We welcome those.
Bother the hell out of them.
Next.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Kill it.
Gentlemen right here, you only speak because it's not, you want us to speak because we came a long ways to speak. Come on and speak. He has some
Yate, Brandani Minishke, Kenyani Mishle, Kisani, Ehani Bashishin, and a lot of Dashi Che Ado, Kisani Dashino. Tournament is a dead nutshell. Polls don't get everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm glad that a lot of you have stayed here and came to listen to the questions and answers and opinions that we have to share with you. One of the first things I have to say is water from a faucet doesn't solve poverty. There are plenty of third world countries that have running water. And the reason why they're at stake is due to their leadership. And the way this administration has been acting might as well be a country with running water full of third world leadership. Why listen to people who view the net and Hobie as a problem to their non-Indigenous economic benefits, or as an immature society? These are the words from John Kyle and John McCain, the sponsor and co-sponsors of this bill. Who is the more advanced or mature society? The one that respectfully preserves its resources, or the one who doesn't? Additionally, should this become the law of the land, we only have to look back at U.S. history and survey how the law of the land has been manipulated, misinterpreted, and changed to benefit the settlers.
Yeah! Yeah!
We talk about this being like a basketball game, like a basketball court, except that when the Indians start winning, they start changing the rules. Lawyers only defend the law of the land. They don't defend the worldview of Indigenous people. And we continue to survey how U.S. laws and the U.S. legal framework has been applied towards Indigenous societies. We will see that it has and currently facilitates centuries of theft. How many of you here are for settlement? For S2109?
None.
How many of you
Now
here
one
are
hand.
against the settlement?
Oh yeah!
Mr. Vice President, the people have spoken. And this is the problem when you try to build a government.
All power to the people!
Our government on a flawed system, the colonial system of the U.S. government. You forget the voice of the people.
All power to the people!
The people have spoken. And you are against this bill. So my question is to you, or why do you believe that water from a faucet will solve this perceived poverty? What is poverty to Indigenous people? Is it colonial poverty? Is it materialistic poverty? What are we trying to solve here? These are the questions that we have to answer. Societal questions. We can't continue to rush into what can be considered an immediate answer. We can't continue to bow down from two people who view us as a problem and as immature. And I hope that all of you speak to your council delegates and continue to apply pressure.
And it just so happened that this particular council that I got elected on behalf of my people, it so happened that now these issues are coming to the table. Whether we oppose it, whether we approve it, it's going to come no matter what. I'm sitting picturing myself at the council. I'm sitting there thinking of the future of my children. I vote red
into this particular legislation. That particular discussion, bringing down forth to the federal government, it's still going to go forward. And it is a rush. Although it's stated by my nubby over here, Mr. Harrison Sosi, 33 years. Although that may be the case, I think our legislators down in Phoenix are rushing this only because the name has to go down in the record books. That's kind of how I see it. It's not favorable for all of Arizona. Yesterday, just kind of listening to Jan Brewer, the discussion of Senate bill, the immigration bill within the state of Arizona, SB 1070. Just that type of discussion, you see what the state of Arizona is, and the way they're thinking, and the way their thought process is. Just this past spring session, I've seen past officials wanted to speak. I've kind of researched in regards to what they talk about to us as a council and what the desecration is about San Francisco Peaks at this date. Those people that said vote for me were in support of that particular snowmaking, San Francisco Peak, but yet they come back to us giving us food like this, speaking of words to say, it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that for your people. That type of concern was eloquently put together by a young gentleman here, I believe he's from Phoenix. But just listening to that type of remark, it's out there. We all know it. We see it in our border towns. In the smallest of fashions, it just so happens this one's coming from the federal government. And it's going to be shoved upon us as delegates. Like I say, within only 2.5 more years I have left on this council, whomever, hopefully a young individual, will take the responsibility from my seat, for my chapters, and carry on. But this will be a never-ending fight. This is only but a tip of the iceberg at this point. Whether this particular bill fails, another one will be introduced, and it will still be coming forward. So with that, I listen to your sentiments, I listen to your understandings, take into consideration, and all of you presented at my own chapter for a chapter resolution. But I know that that Senate bill, as even some documents on council, they're probably pretty thick. But it is a nothing online. If you see how I got we're on the ocean, that's a yard though. If you quite in a spot, you know, shopping, then you get enough to show it on it. When the old gosh wants to speak for
Thank you. We have Don Yasi.
Thank you. Don Yasi, thank you for being here. I really appreciate everyone being here. I really wish the younger generation would stay. I saw them all walk out and leave. It takes a lot of patience to listen to this, and I appreciate you, those of you that are staying. Right now, my job is I work for Vice President Banash. But for these 3 minutes, I'm going to step out of that role and speak from me as a citizen here. Step out of my role. I'm from Kirkside, and also from where my mom is from. My mom, she's from Southern, for the whole Navajo humanity issue came up. Once we hear the name McCain, it opens up a lot of hurt
So I think that's kind of what a lot of this is, the anger is relating to. But when I really think about it, Diego Montesque, like question 2, and he said, I see Diego Montesque, think about it. Really long term, think about it. The way he thought about it is for future generations. I was thinking about it and I was reading it. I was reading the information. There's a difference between the bill, S-2109, and the difference between the settlement. The settlement has all the details. This water settlement, LCR, Little Colorado River, that's down from White Mountain, Auto-Lay, past Auto-Lay towards Grand Canyon. That's the only river that this one talks about in Arizona. And there's little wash here, like Black Creek Wash, Weepo Wash, Genetical Wash. It's only talking about that. It's not talking about the whole Navajo Nation and all 3 states. And that wash only runs twice a year. Monsoons, August, the snow melts on White Mountain, springtime, summer. 80% of the time it's not running. And if you look at your PowerPoint, it says 220,000 acre-feet a year estimate is what that runs. Just 2 times a year. How much of that Navajo? Did you guys hear that part? How much did we get?
165.
Out of 220,000 acre-feet, Navajo gets to use 160,000 acre-feet. Okay? What's included in it, a young lady, she left, I wish she would have stayed. In aquifers, about 1,000 feet down, we can have unlimited use for municipal clinics, homes, schools. But for industrial, like let's say we have built a big old industrial park, there's limits on in aquifer for Navajo. But for community use, it's unlimited in aquifer. Sea aquifers even lower, 1,500, 2,000 feet. That one says unlimited. Navajo people can use that unlimited use. So within the boundaries of the Navajo Nation, we have unlimited use of those aquifers. And then around, let's say, the non-ranchers, they can't drill close to our boundary. There's a limit. So non-Navajo, it stops them from trying to drill right next to our reservation line. They don't have unlimited use next to our reservation line. They mean that protection zone 1, protection zone 2, protection zone 3. Read your PowerPoint. It's hard to understand. I read it over and over and over listening. When I first heard about this, I was like, Navajo.
You got to keep repeating it.
Then I said, let me read it, let me think about it. Another thing to remember is the waivers. I don't like that wording either. But the waivers is not just for us. It's for Hopi. It's for the big companies. There's non-ranchers who want to claim more water. The waivers is for them too. Everyone involved has to waive, not just us. We don't want the non-ranchers to claim more after the settlement. They can't go and ask for more. Okay? And another thing that's included in this is the money that's going to be appropriated for those pipeline projects. Like Gilmore here was saying, the areas built downtown, so they want to have their projects done. So it's providing money for that as well. If we need a state court since 1979, it's not going to be awarded. So for 33 years, this is not rushed. 33 years is been going on. So with this settlement, we get the money for it as well. That's how I think about it. It's for the future. Yeah.
Thank you. Senator Sosi. These are public forum, public hearing, meetings. The commissioners, they set those dates, but for President's Forum, we only schedule 7, and this is the last one, but they continue to forum, they can tell you their schedule.
Thank you, Bessie. I hope to keep it under 3 minutes. I really want to thank the participants, the Navajo public. All the forums I've been to, you've shown great interest. And you were there. Whether you're for it or against it, or you're the silent person, nonetheless you were there. To the young people, it's good to see your involvement again. I know you're tweeting and you're Facebooking and all that stuff, and maybe that got you there. But I would respectfully ask you show the same type of fervor in attending community planning meetings and chapter meetings. It's very important. That's where these issues are discussed also. And I want to apologize for the police presence. Don't hold it against the police officers. It's people that order them to do that it happens. And I apologize, and I did respectfully request the administration to ease off on it. It didn't happen, and I guess they didn't want to take my advice. And so, but I think when funding comes along again, we'll talk about those things and how we shouldn't. In fact, there might even be a directive now to say that at public forums, that only if there is a credible source of threat or public safety, then this shall be done. Otherwise, don't do it. I've never been told that there's a credible source of threat. And I really apologize and hate it with that, I don't, the question immediately, and I think for me, I'm kind of arriving at a position. And that is, I think most of you have spoken on, in fact, almost all of you have spoken against it. I am worried about the lawsuit and the litigation. I am worried about it. And I wish we could have done better. I don't blame you. You're the public. You want information. And I think it's how we presented it. That's the administration, that's the council, that's the departments. It was our job to present good information to you. I just want to use an example, and I respectfully request our Attorney General to be very careful, because you're the lead lawyer. When you say that all we're doing is clarity, well, it's really not true. We are demanding water. If you look at this thing see the handout that I got, you just read that, and it says that Navajo Nation put in a claim for 500,000 acre-feet of water. And then you go further down, and it says the United States filed a claim for 200,000 acre-feet of water. That's not clarity. What we're saying is we want that water. And I think this is where maybe we were not too upfront with you. And but if we're going to go forward, as a council delegate, I'm going to demand, and I hope I'll be able to convince the council, and I think what we saw here today, that we change the way we do this. and because we really wanted to hear, and we wanted to hear both sides, but Go to Loop and others, they do need water line. But how do we get water to Navajo people? How do we improve their quality of life? But, I don't blame you. I think it's how we present it. And I think we're going to talk about that, and I think there's going to be some good discussions on it. Finally, I learned tonight that if you go south of Navajo Nation line, there's a whole bunch of reservoirs. And I didn't even know that. And one of them happens to be near, I understand, Senator Cow's residence. Oh. By Greer. If we just had it on the map, and this is where, as public figure, Senator Cow needs to be open and say that, yes, I do have an interest in this little Colorado River fight. I don't want all those Navajos to have it because it flows by me. That's what you call the conflict of interest.
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
So and please take it easy on the president. He means well. I think he has the concerns of normal people at heart. I think this is kind of could publish as the last forum. Let's try to come back together. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about the traditional views on Navajo warriors and the respect for it. I wish all of you would also tomorrow wake up and pray that we will do well and give a little bit of cutting to the water as an offering. And ask for forgiveness. And then ask for here. Ask for protection. And then I hope the commissioners mean well too. But we'll talk about this based on what we heard from you. Thank you very much for that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Ben? Mr. Ben?
I'm going to split my time, so I'm going to get my questions really quick. Split my time with my Magaji from Pahachi as well, because we're talking about educated individuals coming back and helping the nation, and that's exactly what we're doing. We have a PhD and a master's candidate here, so and it's in the field of what we're talking about. We've been talking about this for the past 2 weeks. The Indonesian my question's different, and I commend you so much for what you guys have done, the commission thus far. It's a very difficult job, but someone has to take it, and you guys all have taken that responsibility. And I also like to thank the President's Office and Vice President for putting these forums up for us, for feeding us. We do get a little rowdy, but they really come back at midnight and have to plan again the next day for the next event, so I appreciate that very much. Okay, so my questions. This $358.7 million that we're going to get in the settlement, you allocated it on that one slide that you had mentioned, and I believe that the MO&R is for operation, maintenance, and repair. Is that correct? So you allocated $23 million. If we're going to be getting water from the basin up, there's going to be energy that's going to be needed. Has that study been done on where the energy is going to be coming from to pump the water up to Ganado, to Greasewood, and to Tisto? And how much is that going to cost? I think that should be part of the presentation. Also, in order to do this, we're going to have to need a water treatment plant for all of these projects that you're allocating, and that study needs to be done, and that money allocation needs to be put in the PowerPoint presentation, and also needs to be given to the public. And you had allocated $23 million for this, and I don't know how much of that money will be left over for maintenance and labor, and also how will it be kept? All the information you've been giving us on forever, and we're debating all of these waivers, claims, and rights. One of the things that I wanted to ask is, once all of that money is gone, it's just like when you go to the border town to give your child $20, he goes and spends at the first place he goes. And that's exactly how I look at what we're doing with this $300 million, is they're giving us this money we've already allocated, and what are we going to use later on down the road when it runs out? And when that happens, is it going to be up to the people to start paying for the maintenance and labor? Is it going to be coming to the NCUA bills? Is it going to be coming from our taxes as a nation? Those are the questions I had, and I'll yield at a time too. Well, I have a minute and a half left. I'm right here, the buzzer. The buzzer is right here. And has it vibrated?
Agency is a part of, actually a part of that, so I feel like I have a right to speak, even though I'm told I'm not from the Fort Defiance chapter. As Navajo citizens, and I am a voting citizen, I do have a right to speak. And what I have to say is solely my own perspective and from my own, is my own thoughts. And so what I want to do, first of all, is I want to thank all of the hard work, decades that has gone into making this proposal. Our leaders worked within the incredible constraints of U.S. colonialism. And I recognize that decisions our leaders have to make in impossible political situations. And I recognize that every day tribal nations witness the erosion of our sovereignty under the U.S. legal system. Given that, within these constraints, I would like to raise some questions, and I have 3 points. First of all, I'd like to say that I have a PhD in history, and I cannot understand the settlement language. Okay? I'm not at the top of the dog path in academia, but I can read the English language and understand it pretty well, and I'm having a difficult time. If I'm having a difficult time, then how is the rest of our citizens doing and understanding and interpreting what is put before us in the language of legalese? And I want to thank all the men with degrees, the people on the ground who have given me time and answered my questions as I think through this with the rest of you. I still am not clear what it means to give up. What is a settlement? We must be giving up something. We must be giving up a significant portion of water. I'm not sure what that means. We're giving up something. Who gets that? And where is it going if we're giving up something? Okay? And I want to thank my student for this question that she provided. She says, why aren't we questioning the colonial premises of a settlement to begin with?
Yeah.
Surely there are other options for a sovereign tribe to pursue than those forced upon us by the United States. Why is Navajo Generating Station a part of the settlement? When did a group of utility companies come to have a status on par with tribal nations?
Yeah!
And then the second thing I want to ask is the point about the delivery of CAP water through the Navajo Valley Water Supply Project. I thought this was taken care of in a different settlement. Why does that become part of this settlement? That's not clear. So, given that, 2 more things that I would like to say is that we're told that if there is no settlement, there will be continued litigation and uncertainty. We have always lived with uncertainty every day.
Yep.
Please go forward with brave hearts. And if it does not fit with what we want as Navajo people, then have the courage to say no.
Yeah.
The last thing that I would like to say is that I would like to encourage our Navajo Nation to move beyond the U.S. domestic law and seek recognition of our sovereign rights in the international forum and talk about the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous Peoples' Rights, announced to the United States that it is a new day in Indian country. Thank you. And then we also have some other
week, I thought I was just going to time myself. My name is Desiree. I'm from Winter Rock, Arizona, and I grew up in this area. This is my home, and water is very precious to me. I know that the settlement and the bill sound very, very nice the way that it's being presented tonight. I know I'm almost late, but there's a lot of differences between what we're being told and what John Kyle is saying to the federal government. So I'm going to read you something that he actually read to the U.S. Senate on February 14th. Legally, the Navajo Nation, the Hopi tribe, may assert claims to larger quantities of water. But as seen here, they do not have the means to make use of those supplies in a safe and productive manner. This is what he thinks about us. I don't know if he's been telling this to our government or the officials, but this is what he believes. He also says that this settlement would not only give benefit to the Navajo and Hopi tribes, but it would also provide immeasurable benefits to non-Indian communities. So what we get is drinkable water, but everyone outside of us, off the reservation, gets immeasurable benefits. And this is what he presented to the U.S. Senate, and this is what he believes. This is the reason why I'm not for this bill or the settlement, is because if he's presenting a two-faced way, then we can't trust him. And I know the way it's being presented today, that it's a very good bill, and that we should do it. But I don't think we should. I think we can wait, and if we do take it to litigation, then we take it to litigation and we put up a fight. Because if we don't put up a fight, we're going to do it. Thank you.
Yat Eros Nenan Adokaya Yan Direction Chit Kachidisha Touching Washington Kia Alice Chiro Naked National Tinted Alomasha Alo Naja Ehe Makani Do Akikami Negi Bahendi Aronda Koroe Pahate Do Israel Ego Ntikesta Art Ego Nijina has Ado Nijina Hadete Ado Nijenda Ado Kalana Nizeni Dot Arte Egin Egam Egi Kodo Nijituke Kahane and Lady Seno The Queer It's not Heno, out of the Gofnia. Out of the Queer, it's Argent of Heno, where the Navajo, as me, which can go, that we need to that area as Kadova was. A message and now people have spoken to. The many community. Adesso giovani chiese, i signori sono egli causa, o poco dopo ego, che sale in alta, hagin link hovnetno, dove dolce, dove basta. Adesso giovani chiese, non riesce che trovo una riesce, perché non ha riesce, perché ayanza chiese. E kut ego alle net iarti. A kut ego doki nishna shaba pinitsino. Chayat shik shik ne ko nitlandi. Kadona baby ki wasri sik nena. Nijnant an jinde ajunant an then chi kuno ya hati. Astui only na bani aba ade to be ban ko Kohade ero joki il khato ahinahati nidoti movement and ena iadi jod araban sanakis aro stwini klindi nahi klandi thare tindo yeli na eto topic chata dorna nana de kohne joko da enda job na siti job na sini sima ya 아론가 토 아니 있나 에바 운이지 이게 좋게 다 하던 게 많이 다 하니 용이 내 나를 보시는 분이 그걸 나시네 내지 산지 케이스 아버지 에고 저를 대로 다 스타로에 드네스를 아에게 에고에 맞춰보고 또 그 에고에 하나님 기도에 조금 진도 따라야지 아름다운 데에야 이 토종 이 제이지의 토가 어디이 치료신 인도를 어코죠 나저 그만한데 어떻게 하시는 거에 이 시도를 아름다운 케이블이 아도 인도고 같이 제 부다 케가 하나 케가 어코 에도시 관계기 또래 아저씨가 야게 아침 다 타기 콘산나 카이도 대단히 아르에 아나기 water is life water is sacred 어kon 아침 아니 그때 내가 나나 토포한 야티 로봇이 야티 로베 야티 로베 호가 every 자들의 방법이 에비나 아니 노에서 쇼다 나한테 아고 아침이 인도를 해고 I thank each and every one of you for being here and for the young people who are in many ways are fortunate that they're receiving an education in the Western school system so that they begin to understand and know what it is like to look at these issues from this Western perspective. And unfortunately, we're not going through an education, a genuine Navajo education system. So you look at this view through those eyes as well. A has to those fine and lady. So when you're done with your education, I also would like to invite you to participate this at the local level through our own general education system. Because that's what it would take to come to an understanding. We're interested in your views and your concerns. They will either vote yes or they vote no. If it's approved, fine. If it's not approved, fine. But the bottom line is we must live with the consequences. If we're going to go continue to court, so be it. But you must also be willing to lobby your delegates to put up funding to fight for the next however many years it will take. And we talk about international issues. I was one of the few from Navajo who actually burned the midnight oil to negotiate the language of the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. But when I was over there, the Navajo people said, and at that time, nobody came forth and said, he's looking out for the future of the Navajo Nation. That's why he's implementing and crafting language so that we could use it against the U.S. Joe, Eddie, the Lebanon, Joe, Antiques, the Kedo, and Dakote, Edo, Jordan, Antiques. Ado Shinala, the Honorable President Ellen Shelley. He's in Washington, D.C. In fact, he met with John Kyle today, bringing up some of these issues. We will hear the outcome of their report later on when he comes back. He's already relaying the message to Kyle and others in D.C. what their concerns are. 80,000 dollar. I don't want again, we don't know for a share in Chicago. Patient our state dollars. And thank you to all the leaders, to the staff and the employees and everyone. A share. Let's continue to talk and work this through. It's not going to stop. It will continue, whether it's through courts or through settlements and other alternatives, other venues. It will continue. But let's have the spirit of working together, being honest with one another, and fight for what we truly believe is ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You know, I was looking at his notes. He's writing in Navajo, just like I thought he was doing shorthand, but he's writing in Navajo. I'm very proud to know that he does that. And we're going to wrap it up with a traditional song from the Vice President, Ishu Kadobe Opening.
I signed up to speak. I walked across the country. I walked across the Navajo Nation to speak. I signed up to speak. I've walked all the way across the country. I've walked across the Navajo Nation. I have something important to say. I have something important to say. Please let me speak. Why won't you let me speak? I've walked over 700 miles. I've walked across your nation. I'm from Peter River. Right off the side of the street. I'm an inbox on Illinois.
That's the 이전이 이렇게 소리하는 이렇게 세상은 각도 정도 대성에 그분에 따지기 인간은 끝나네 그런 뜻이 내 뜻이 이제 한 인간이 어느 한 인간이 저치기 여보여 다음에 이제 쌍을 넣고 이제 공부하고 하고 이제 사하고 이제 사하고 이제 사하고 dan 제가 당연히 나서는데 저는 왜 그러죠? 어떻게 되는
May I be allowed to speak?
Speak. Mic check.
Mic check!
Mic check.
Mic check! Today, Father Sky rained on this land. Father Sky and Mother Earth
are sending you a message.
We just want to talk, that's all, so we can hear you, we want to know. This is our mic, so we'll let you
We know the mic check.
Thank you very much.
And we will mic check.
To the Navajo people for letting Occupy Walk USA walk across your land. We have been walking for over 2 weeks, and we've learned much about your nation and about your culture and about what you're fighting for here. I would like to say that we are walking across the country right now because the United States government is no longer representing the people of this nation. The regime that calls itself the executive branch, the regime that calls itself the judicial branch, the regime that calls itself the Congress and the Senate, they represent Wall Street. They represent money. They don't represent you. They don't represent me. Okay? Wall Street has no conscience. Wall Street has no soul. Wall Street doesn't care about Father Sky or Mother Earth. Father Sky is sending you a message today. It rains today. We're talking about water rights. It rained here today in Fort Defiance. Listen to Father Sky. Listen to Mother Earth. They're sending you a message. They're coming together. Wall Street is only concerned about money. They're not concerned about you. They're not concerned about me. When we walked through here, we saw what is going on here. And the world needs to know what is going on here today. Water rights is a worldwide issue. All over the world, indigenous cultures are fighting for their rights. Water is life. Remember that. Thank you very much for everybody here.